I'm back with more thoughts about this gosh darn post. Kind of. I will reply to the post just to say kind of. But I will explain myself. Because I know that my kind of is not what they meant at all. But when I was 12, I didn't know that I was non-binary. I didn't know that I was anything other than what I'd been told I was supposed to be. Because I was told what I was supposed to be and I just accepted it, you know? Like, there was no reason. There was no... I didn't know that I could push against what was expected of me because I didn't see that. I'd never seen it. As a kid, I knew that gay people existed. I knew lesbians existed. I did not, well, complicated, I did not know about transgender, really, until, like, maybe middle school, maybe? I don't know. But it was definitely, up until that point, it was just hermaphrodites or something else that's, you know, not nice and not acceptable anymore. And the things that I heard about the LGBT were mostly negative. The only, I guess, I wouldn't even say positive, depictions, just because they had to push a lot of things to even do it, but like one of the only depictions of a lesbian couple I saw as a kid was on Friends, and for like, because Carol and Susan were lesbians, but they weren't part of the main 6 friends, so for the most part we're just hearing about them from Ross, who's really upset that his wife left him for a woman. So he's saying stuff, you know? And it's like stereotypical. Like, it was the first lesbian wedding on TV or whatever, but, you know, it's still not completely a positive thing. Where was I going with this? I thought this was going to be a short video, but turns out I go on tangents. So when I was little, I knew I was a girl. I always knew I was a girl because my mom told me I was a girl. I had long hair. I wore dresses. That's it. And there was never a decision made, or at no point, at least as far as I remember, I don't remember ever being like, I want to be a boy, like telling people that. But, so like, you know how kids make assumptions based on the information they have, and for the most part they have no actual information. So I didn't know the difference between boys and girls until I was like 8, but I did know that boys and girls went to the bathroom differently, I guess, because like they're separate bathrooms. So I'm sure somebody just explained to me that, like, we go to the bathroom differently. I don't know what I was supposed to take from that, but what I assumed was that boys sit on the toilet backwards, like facing the wall, you know, like facing the tank. So I used to go to the bathroom like that. I would sit on the toilet backwards because I thought that's how boys went to the bathroom. And I never told anyone this. Well, I probably told people this like after I'd stopped doing it, but and I specifically remember because I wasn't a girly girl. I was definitely more of a tomboy, I guess. But looks like I played with Hot Wheels. Like I loved Hot Wheels, which is ironic because I'm nearly 27 and don't have a driver's license. But whatever, Hot Wheels. And and I guess I was kind of like gross. Like I thought farts were funny and like belching is funny and like boy stuff. Just like playing in mud and getting dirty and just like being reckless. And I always remember my sister being like, "Why don't you act like a girl? Like that's not ladylike. Why don't you act like a girl? Like, like you act like a boy. I think you are a boy." Like, and me having no idea what the difference between boys and girls are, like, I don't know. But it's just I didn't I did not ever at any point in my childhood just be like, oh, I'm a boy. But at no point in my childhood was like, yeah, I'm a girl, I'm happy with that. But it was just I never questioned it. But I will say that well the gender questioning stayed dormant for a few years there in the middle between the time I was like 6 to the time I was like 11. And this is important because 11 is less than 12, and the post specifically says 12-year-olds. So I was 11 when my gender questioning started back up. And there was definitely a catalyst. There was something that triggered it, and it was that the summer before 6th grade, I had gotten lice really, really bad. And I have really curly hair, and it's thick as hell. And it was kind of long. It's longer than it is now, but it was really long. I've never had long hair. But it was like kind of long, and it's curly, and it's thick. And you've seen the little combs that like you have to use to get lice out? Like my mom definitely tried. She definitely tried to work through my hair. And she even cut it short to like a bob to like right here, but it was too much. And she was like, I think we're gonna have to shave your head. This is so bad. We have to shave your head. And so we shaved my head when I was 11. I'm not crying. So we shaved my head. I was crying. My mom was crying. Never shaving my head. And I got misgendered a lot that year. Definitely. Well, when school started up, I was wearing a wig. I wore a wig for a while until my hair was like definitely not a girl length. Shorter than it is now. It's just like short. It was like to where I could put like a headband on and like you could tell that I'm a girl, but like it was still really, really short. But at some point I just decided I'm gonna stop wearing the wig. But it was definitely all headband. Like I had to wear the headband so people knew I was a girl. Because I don't kids are mean, and I'm really wondering why it was an insult to misgender someone, because at this point I don't care. But it hurt. It did. And 6th grade was a really tough year, and everyone was like a big ol' freaking bitch to me. And I got written up a few times for calling various people bitches, but they were. I'm looking at you, Victoria. You know you're a bitch. Anyway, so that's whenever I was actually questioning it. I wasn't really questioning it, but it was just I passed for a boy. I mean, then like the next year I went through puberty and like stopped looking like a boy, because I mean I was 11, I hadn't even gotten my period yet, so like I look like a boy. But I don't know, whenever I started to get womanly attributes, I got them very quickly, and way more than I wanted very quickly, and it was troublesome. It was not something I wanted. It was annoying. It's still something that's annoying. I just, if I could, I've literally been saying since I was like 14 that I wanted a breast reduction, and even now, I weigh like 120 pounds. I'd still get a breast reduction, and my boobs are like a normal size. It's just they're inconvenient. Like, I don't like walking upstairs because it's like bloop, 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 and it feels weird. I don't like it. I don't know what that has to do with anything. But, what was I saying? I had a point. Okay, the post, it says something like, it lists off, it says like 12-year-olds don't know that, or 12-year-olds shouldn't know that their long list of like sexualities and gender identities, or weird words that didn't exist until like 10 years ago. It's like, kids shouldn't know that they're pansexual or non-binary or genderqueer or whatever fucking shit. And it says they just read it on Tumblr or some shit. And kind of. And that's okay. Because I promise they were feeling those feelings before they had a word for it. And it is an amazing feeling. It's a great feeling to have your feelings recognized, to know that it's not, you're not just weird, you're not just like strange, that it's an actual thing, a thing that other people feel, and there's a name for it, and it's not something you should hide or something that you should be ashamed of. It's a word that represents what you've known this whole time, but you didn't have a word for. And that's okay. It's okay to learn new words. It's okay to learn new things. Like I'm 100% sure if I had access to the internet before I was like 13, 14, I would have known things way earlier. But I didn't have access to the internet, or at least unsupervised access to the internet until I was around 13 or 14. And I discovered all kinds of stuff really quickly. And yeah, like if I had the access to the information when I was younger, then yeah, I'd know. But saying that the kids getting the information could only come from like someone grooming them or like something like that, it's ridiculous, because kids are curious, and like I have always been curious. There's a certain family story that gets brought up all the time of whenever I was 6 years old and my cousin was 7, that proves that curiosity. And it's human to search out information that you don't know. It's normal. And definitely if you're having feelings that aren't validated, that aren't normal in your society, in your like family or whatever, and you're not comfortable telling someone about how you're feeling, it's normal to go online and just like Google it. Like, what does it mean if I don't feel like a girl or a boy? You know, it's just like, I promise everyone has done that. Everyone has Googled, is it normal kind of question, you know? So it's not even an age thing. And it's about having the words. And I'm really sorry that you don't have the words. And I'm sorry that you feel the way that you do, that how you were raised led you to believe these things. Because it's like, I try to understand the mindset of a cis straight person. I try. And honestly, I can't, because that's not me. And it makes sense that a cis straight person would have trouble relating to someone who's trans or gay. So it makes sense. But why do you feel the need to think one is better than the other? Or one is not right? Or anything? It's like, how does it benefit you to put down others? Like, how is this 12-year-old who says they're non-binary, how is that hurting you? How is that detrimental to society? How does it affect anything at all? And some arguments that I hear a lot about younger people and like gender identity is about surgeries and hormones and all that stuff. But like, there is absolutely nobody at all out here giving sex changes to toddlers. Like, I promise that's not happening, except for that one time. And that was a really bad social experiment where it was a pair of twin boys and it was about circumcision. It was just like, oh, oops, we accidentally cut off its dick. Let's just turn it into a vagina. And that was a really terrible, terrible thing that happened. But I promise nobody out here is like knowingly giving children sex changes. I promise. Like, at most, for kids, prepubescent kids, like 12 and under, all that is done medically is puberty blockers. And that's a life-saving thing. It really is. Because, like, just imagine knowing who you are. Just knowing with 100% certainty who you are, and then your body just starts disagreeing with you. You, like, you get breast, you get your period, you know, your body keeps telling you that you're a woman, but you know that you're not. And it's tough. And I've had body dysmorphia, not so much on the like gender side of things, but more on like the eating disorder kind of body dysmorphia, and it's hard. Just like, you see your body and you know it's your body, but it's not. It's because it's not you. And puberty blockers, it doesn't, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, it doesn't do any damage. Just keeps you from starting puberty, from going through puberty. So, and like the big argument about trans kids is, what if they change their mind? Like, okay, puberty blockers. They don't change anything permanently. They don't change anything. They just prevent something from happening. So like if it's a female taking, or you know what I mean, it would stop them from developing breasts and getting the menstrual cycle. And on a male body, it would prevent their like testicles from dropping and growth of man parts and like pecs and facial hair and stuff. And if they change their mind and they like stop taking the puberty blockers, then it's really no harm done, because they will still go through puberty like a little bit late, but it's better to, I don't know how to make things make sense, because it makes sense in my head and I don't understand how it does not make sense to you. And like, I understand not wanting like kids to take hormones. I understand that. But like, once they've hit puberty, like, okay, if I know there's like a few, like there's so many, I'm sure, kids who have they've always known that they are not the gender they were assigned. Yeah. Like, they've just always known. So I don't see a problem. Like, if I had a child, which I will never do, yeah, I plan to never do, one, I don't plan on like disclosing their gender, because I just think that'd be hilarious and people would be so pissed off. But if they decided that they wanted to identify as the gender that they weren't born as, I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Alright. But, and like, if they maintained it, like if they were 6 years old and they decided they wanted to, like, my son wanted to wear dresses, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And they continued to like stay like that. They wanted, like, their wants did not change. By the time they're like 11, I'd probably, if they asked, or I'd probably just like talk to them like, hey, do you want to get on puberty blockers? And I wouldn't have a problem whenever they're like 14 getting on hormones, because they've known for this long. And I'm not gonna say that it's never a phase, because I've definitely known people who have transitioned and then were just like, never mind. But sometimes it takes trying things to know whether or not you're, yeah. I've just noticed that I've been here for nearly 25 minutes, and this was meant to be like a 5-minute video. I'm pretty sure I made my point already, that like, yeah, 12-year-olds wouldn't know that they're like non-binary or whatever if it wasn't for Tumblr, but like, that's good because they have a word for it and they feel validated by that. Now I'm just rambling and repeating myself. Too long didn't read and such. Okay.